Well, hello, you are hiking with Jenny on the Appalachian Trail. Today is day 155. I just left a little stealth site by Dream Lake, and today is going to be a challenging day. I'm going to go up and over Mount Success, which I've actually climbed before, and the way down, I remember, is pretty challenging. I'm going to be crossing into Maine. I'm hoping to end the day right before the Mahoosic Notch because I want to do that tomorrow morning when I'm fresh. If you don't know, the Mahoosic Notch is basically like a hiker jungle gym. It's 0.8 miles of just like boulder hopping and rock climbing and cave diving. So the last couple days since I've finished the official whites, the Carter range really kicked my butt, and I've been more sore the last couple days. Actually, I don't know if you remember back, way back in Tennessee, I was having those problems with the backs of my heels. It could have been a Achilles problem, but it went away. I started to feel it again after the Carter range. So I'm going to try and be as gentle with myself as I can while still, making progress through Maine. This upcoming section is supposedly underrated in terms of how challenging it is, because you've got slick, steep rock slabs, and you've got rebar and ladders and non-existent bog boards with waist deep mud and everything, and I don't know if I'm in any condition to be doing that right now. So I have an alternative plan. There's a trail that Brian and I took when we did an overnight trip, and we did Mount Success, and we stayed at the Carlo Cole shelter. There's a trail that goes down. It keeps going down to Success Road, and you can take the road to I think it's just called the Mahoosic Trail, and it takes you back up to where the notch begins. So I still want to do the Mahoosic Notch, but I'm going to try and avoid some of the really steep ups and downs leading up to it, because I want to be in good condition for when I do the notch, especially where there's a very strong possibility that I will be doing it without any help. I was really kind of hoping that I could have somebody to hike through this section with, even if it's just this section, because it's so for parts of it you're crawling through narrow caves, and it helps to have somebody to help pull the packs through, and otherwise it might just end up being a lot more time consuming because I'm going to have to push the pack through myself, which is doable. It's just probably not going to make it as fun. So my hope for tonight is I'll run into some people that are also doing it in the morning and basically just beg them to buddy up with me just for that section. It's funny, I know that we're still in New Hampshire, but ever since I crossed Route 2, it's like the terrain kind of changed. And I'm sure part of it is no longer being in the quote-unquote whites anymore, but it's it's felt like I'm already in Maine, because when I think of Maine, this is what I think of. I think of lots of mud. I think of just more rugged terrain, a lot more roots and moss. I think of like bigger rock slabs, not like the like chunky rocks like in New Hampshire, but just like the flat slabs. That's what I think of when I think of Maine. And I've already been experiencing that like almost immediately, getting across Route 2 and like the road walk and everything. And once you got back up to like elevation, it was like, this is different. So I keep having to remind myself, like, no, I'm still in New Hampshire. I'm still in New Hampshire. Because it already feels like I'm in Maine. Got my first rebar section. Probably first of many. I'm on my way up the last climb in New Hampshire, Mount Success. I have hiked this mountain before, but I came up the other side. Actually hiked it in June, last June 2023, with Brian, and we visited the site of a airplane crash in that video. Whatever you do, don't fall off. Oh, gross. So I guess this is the summit. Smaller than I remembered. It's kind of misting out right now. It's not supposed to rain, but it's just gonna be cloudy all day. It will rain tonight though. Just had my lunch up there because I know this next section is pretty tricky. So just wanted to get that out of the way. But I only have like, I think 2 miles or less to the Maine border. I forgot how challenging this was. I remember this from before. This is the trail and it goes way back up there. Oh boy. So this is super cool. So not only like I'm literally about to enter Maine, but I just met Tara, aka Sweet Potato. She's hiking the Appalachian Trail. She's a fellow hammocker, and she started out as a northbound through hiker. Then she flipped up to Katahdin, and she's now hiking south. But it was so cool because like I didn't think I was gonna meet her because she started a lot later than I did. But then I heard that she flipped and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get to meet her finally. And I didn't know when it was gonna happen, and it just so happened to happen almost directly at the Maine border. So that was really cool. She's just a really cool, chill person. So this is awesome. I'm officially in Maine. I've been to the sign before because I hiked through here with Brian when we did our Mount Success hike, and now I get to experience it as a thru hiker, so that's really nice. Last state, one more state to go. I'm tired. So I just met Teresa. She was hiking with Sweet Potato, and I was asking her about the notch, and she said that if I can find a buddy, she would not recommend me do it alone. She said it would be worth waiting hours for somebody. So, whew, okay. Well, hopefully there'll be somebody at camp that is willing to hike with me. She also said that Maine was like 4 times harder than anything she did from Springer up to Harper's Ferry. Oh boy, I got a lot of challenging hikes to come. I mentioned I've hiked this section before. Was not wearing a backpack. It is much harder with a backpack on because the squeezes are so tight. And like if you like lean against a rock, it kind of like pushes you forward and it like puts you off balance. So it is a struggle. All right, 5 o'clock. I have made it to the Notch Trail. This is gonna take me back up to the beginning of the Mahoosic Notch. So I can tackle that tomorrow. And there's supposedly camp spots right before it that I can take advantage of so that I can just get up and immediately start the notch in the morning. Hopefully there'll be someone else at camp that I might be able to convince to do it with me. Otherwise, I could always just wait for people who camped at the shelter before that to catch up and try and buddy up with them. This is a really beautiful trail. You're walking along this creek. It's flowing all the way down the mountain. And sometimes there's these little pools. And I think I might take a little dip in there. Well, that felt amazing to just dip in and rinse off all the sweat from the day. Whew. It was so refreshing too. I'm kind of convinced this trail might be one of the AT's best kept secrets because this is so pretty. Like this rivals that other, like that waterfall detour I did way back in probably Virginia. I think it was Virginia. Because this trail isn't as technical as that one was. And you're just walking along this creek the whole way. Looks like we've met back up with the AT. Now to find a stealth site. So, good news. There is one other person camped here, and it was somebody that I recognize from hiking today. And his name is Joe. And he is going to hike the Mahoosic Notch with me in the morning. So, I'm so relieved. So I'm talking quietly and I have my microphone because he's camped not that far away, so I don't want to wake him up. But yeah, just wanted to update. Thank you for watching and happy trails.